Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel. So the new trailer for the She-Ra Reboot cartoon just dropped and I wanted to share my thoughts on it. Now I've done a couple of videos so far on my views in regards to the reboot. You can check those out if you want to in the links in the description box. Naturally, the overall response to the reboot has been hugely mixed. There's people that swear it's the next level in fantasy animation and they are entitled to that view, and there are others who regard it as an abomination, and that's fine as well, because we should be allowed to have differing viewpoints, unless this is a dictatorship ruled by the evil horde. As for me, I've been clear on my stand that I'm not a fan of the redesigns, but let's go through some of the things we saw in the new trailer and talk about it. Before we get to the trailer, I just wanted to touch on the new poster for the series that debuted a few days ago as well. I realized that there's many out there who might feel that this thing looks amazing and can't wait to have it on their bedroom wall or next to their PC at work. But I just found it to be an aesthetic nightmare. I get where they were going with the light and dark forces, and to be fair, the section with the evil horde does look reasonably captivating, but the rest of it looks like a cross between Sailor Moon, Care Bears, and My Little Pony. And I still don't think that She-Ra looks female enough based on this illustration of her. There's just something that continues to be off about the way her hair looks like a giant yellow blanket that's been forcibly glued to her head. If She-Ra is supposed to be a female here, then I don't think a character like Legolas has any right being a male in the Lord of the Rings movies. But that's just my opinion. So let's get to the trailer. To their credit, the producers give us a whole lot of content in this first look. The trailer is almost 2.5 minutes in length and there's a ton of stuff we see happening. In some ways, it almost felt like we were watching the entire first episode. Now we see Adora and Catra as allies training and fighting together for the Horde, up to the point where Adora discovers her sword and has an awakening and realizes the Horde is actually supposed to be called the Evil Horde as they want to dominate the universe. We then see Adora's full transformation to She-Ra, meeting her other friends in the rebellion such as Glimmer and Bow, the rebellion doubting Adora, Adora convincing the rebellion that she can get the job done, Adora riding on a flying unicorn Swiftwind, Catra realizing Adora is no longer on her side, Catra betraying Adora and the Horde capturing Adora and Swiftwind, Glimmer and Bow talking for a while, the other members of the rebellion talking for a while, Catra talking to some bad guys, the formation of the Princess Alliance, the Princess Alliance showing off their fighting prowess, Hordak galvanizing his troops to destroy the Alliance, She-Ra galvanizing the Alliance to fight Hordak, and then the end credits roll. Like I said, it felt like the first episode was already on screens. Now I was happy to see that the design for Hordak was very much in line with what fans of the classic series remember him as being. He even speaks in the trailer and he comes across as a legitimate bad guy in this rebooted universe. I guess no one wants to screw with Hordak's design, and that's a good thing. But any fantasy adventure series, despite what the overall tone would be, needs a solid villain even if everyone else is prancing around making silly faces and mumbling goofy jokes. And from what we've seen of Hordak so far, he seems to fit the bill. I was stunned, however, at the redesign for Glimmer's character. Now this was Glimmer as we remembered her from the original cartoon. She was the original leader of the rebellion before Adora came around. And not only was she a very finely figured young lady, she was also tall. Based on the context of her original backstory alone, this revamped, plus-sized version of her seems as though a great depression had fallen upon her in the years since, and she's been consoling herself with a bag of Doritos tortilla chips to bed every night. I mean seriously, if you saw Wonder Woman one day and her hips looked like they were 5 times the size of her arms, you'd be wondering too if her island had blown up or something. Now what do you guys think of this redesign? One of the things I had an issue with was the dialogue that was used in the trailer. When Adora first finds the power sword, she reacts by saying, "Cool," which is an Earthen expression. Later on in the trailer, we see Bo, who now looks like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, react to Adora being given the title of She-Ra as being the coolest thing he's ever heard. Again, something that you would hear a kid in the toy store say when he sees a new Transformers toy on shelves. Later on, one of the characters refers to She-Ra as being able to turn into, like, an 8-foot tall woman with a sword. When female characters use expressions such as "like" to join sentences, you can't help but feel that they're supposed to be from someplace in California and not a fictional alien planet. And that's just the thing. The characters in She-Ra's world may look human for the most part, but they're not. They're part of an alien race. So how would they be able to reference and use slang and verbal expressions that are uniquely from Earth? While I realize the show might want to find a way to relate to its audience in an easier way, it throws the viewer off when characters from distant worlds speak the same way that we do. Now, we can accept that English might be a universal language, even if that seems far-fetched, but to go so far as to suggest that aliens use slang the same way that we do is somewhat pushing it. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a scene at the end of the trailer before the title credits come on where She-Ra picks up the sword and she says, "Let's do this." Need I say more? Also, I couldn't help but feel that the overall majority of the rebellion seemed to be made out of bratty teenagers. Now, being that this is an interplanetary war, where are all the adults? Arming what appears to be teens with swords and other lethal weapons to fight a battle seems a bit extreme. Are the adults not capable of fighting? Again, the show does not seem to fully clarify the age of these characters, but judging from their animation style, many of them look like they've yet to finish high school. Okay, so time for some closing thoughts. Now, I have to say that the first trailer was a lot better than what most people thought the series was going to be like when the first images started coming out a few months ago. The animation style looks really bright and fast-paced, and the premise of the story is definitely intriguing. I still dislike the new designs with a passion though, but my views are based on the fact that I grew up on the original 1980s cartoon, and based against those established characters, this feels like a massive step down. If the series had been based on an entirely new premise and was going with a new cast of original characters, it could stand and be evaluated on its own. But it's riding on an established intellectual property, and any comparisons being made are unavoidable and justified. That being said, I'm still a supporter of retro properties being given a chance at pop cultural success, and I will be giving the first episode a look when it debuts. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and I'll catch you guys again soon. Thank you.